I'm a 29-year-old man renting a place with a 26-year-old single mother and her kid and need some advice on this situation. I hope someone can make it to the end of what I've wrote. I met a girl from my work. She was a cleaner. Beautiful, young, chirpy, and full of life. I work in sales, so we're literally nothing to do with one another, but my work allows me to bring my dog once or twice a week. She loves dogs, so she kept coming to pet him and play with him, yada yada. We talked a bit but not much. I'm Irish, she's Polish, and only moved to Ireland a year before, so she did not have great English. One day she breaks down crying while petting my dog and says that her husband is leaving her for another woman. I didn't know what to do or say. I have barely spoke to this girl aside from admiring her passively, as I was still mourning a 3-year relationship which I got broken up with a few months prior, and literally vowed in front of people in January that year that I would be taking a year off dating anyone or pursuing anyone whatsoever. And because I felt attracted to her, I couldn't help in that moment. Time goes by and same situation more or less continues, but no crying. One time I gave her a loan in the canteen and I asked, "Hey, what's going on with you, are you okay?" She begins to tell me her story of why her husband and at the time 5-year-old came to Ireland a year ago, and my heart breaks. They were close to the border of Ukraine and panicked. Drove their belongings and left a fully bought house in Poland all the way across Europe to Ireland and settled in the south where the husband's parents had moved a few years back. I listened more and she told me of some of his previous cheating back in Poland, and now he is meeting with some girls he met on Tinder in Ireland. I look at her bedazzled by the fact. How could any man not want what I'm looking at? He must be the literal Prince Charming or better. He ain't. We talked a few more times, passed some jokes and smiles, and one day I hear one of my office managers say her name wrong. I corrected her. Then realized I knew her name. I could search her on the company phone book, so to speak. So I did, found her last name and then went to check her socials, which I found easily. All the story checked out. Minimal pictures or posts, and the ones that existed were of her and the kid and some of the husband. I added her. 2 days later she messages me. Just causal, how is the dog, whatever. Then we talk a bit more and I think to myself, fuck, I feel so bad for this girl. If her husband is cheating on her again, and she's in a new country alone with her kid, she must have nobody, right? I felt pretty alone myself at the time, and thought nothing but, why don't we walk with our dogs together? So I asked, she accepted, and we met. We walked for 4 hours and talked. Regardless of the language barrier, we enjoyed each other's company a lot. Her dog was a 40 kilograms Labrador, mine a mini Jack Russell I inherited through accident, but always take a dog, you know. They even got along. We talk more over messages and sometimes video call and get to know each other. Something was happening. I wasn't expecting it. She tells me more about her husband, and at this point her husband and the kid and dog are all in the one house but different rooms. What she tells me makes me think he's an asshole and completely ungrateful. So I start to want to help her more. I'm developing feelings of sympathy now, and it's easy, all of it. Yet frustration boils in me that I can't just yank her out of the situation and place her and her kid somewhere safe. We continue talking and meeting for short walks, etc. And one day, as my feeling had been growing over time for this woman, I asked if she could come with me for an unofficial date. I asked this because a lot of the time when we walk we would bump off each other and sort of hold for a second, or stand dangerously close, or touch hands by accident and just grab a finger for a few seconds. So there were signs. She sort of overthought it and I played it down. I said, let's go for a drive and just get something to eat that's not close by to here. And we did. It was just that. It was a first date, albeit chipper fish and chips she had asked for. I didn't complain. We missed that day for the first time and it was really amazing. I felt so much. Completely forgot about my commitment to not be with anyone or pursue anyone. Carefully, but wow, was it wild. It was really amazing. We courted a little after that, then she started therapy. Her therapist not advised but condemned she be around anybody romantically, and given what she had been through, 11-year failed marriage, I obliged. Thought we could still be close and friendly, and when this passed maybe we can pick it up again. Honestly, it never changed. She wanted to keep me as a friend but was attracted to me physically and clearly emotionally, and throughout the following weeks her ex decided to leave the house, leaving her in an unaffordable rented situation with her kid. Offering no help really. I was in a situation where my ex left me and I was still paying for a 2-bedroom house with bad memories. We always kept close through that time and I offered as much help as I could. Then it came to her looking for a roommate and I thought, hey, this could work. I already met her kid and he's not at all hard to like. Maybe I could rent the room, help her with the kid a little, and at the same time, I'm not alone, same for her, and we both fix our problems kind of quickly. We went for it, separate rooms. Even separate floors. I help her with her son, bring him to school in the morning cause I work from home and it's easy for me and it helps me get out of the place I was with just bad negative feelings. 2 months in and she has told me many times that she does not want me as a partner ever and wants to be alone. She was depressed for a while and I understood, so I kept my distance and helped when I could. Then 2 days later, while she is at work, she texts me and says she would like to date other people to experience her life more because she's just been in one situation for her entire adult life. Broke my heart because I've grown to love her. Sees me as cute lifelong friend but never a long-term partner, and she's confused obviously. For me though, I'm so fucked and alone in this situation. Rare, but in between those times it's almost like we live in separate houses. I feel like I've done nothing but try help and satisfy the needs I thought we both felt, and now I'm being punished for making a stupid decision for a damsel in distress. Something changed and now it's no longer possible for us to be together like that, yet I've grown attached to her son and he really needs a father figure around. No way trying to step in there and be dad, but I'd like to be around a kid if he can learn from a male adult how to be a man. I never got that, so I can see how valuable it is now. I am struggling to make a decision on staying here and being miserable, having to watch her go through this phase and in the end most likely be with somebody else, but I can't not help her with the kid. I'd possibly have to watch her go for dates with other people. Or just cut it all off and leave. That's my ultimatum, I guess. My friend has a really good room in a nice apartment up for rent in 2 weeks, so I need to make a decision very soon. I am hoping I can get something from this audience, it's ripping me left and right. Comment. So my dad tells me he stayed with my mom because it's actually my brother he fell in love with. He says he had me, with my mom, so my brother would have someone. The marriage ended in infidelity and divorce. He and my brother maintained a relationship until my brother was about 15, and now, my brother is 43 for reference. They are completely no contact and have been for many years. For me, my dad was a stabilizing, emotional rock with which to weather my narcissistic mother. I don't think he really had the same effect on my brother. All this to say, I'm glad my dad made the decisions he did, since without them, I wouldn't be here, but in the greater scheme of everyone's lives, was being together for the sake of my brother actually a good thing? Did it help him? Really hard to say, and I'd say him witnessing another divorce and more dysfunction probably was more detrimental overall, though he did get me out of the deal, however good or bad that is. I can chime in. I have life experience in that regard. There is nothing you can do. The moment you decided to involve yourself with a woman with a kid that's not yours, you take a gamble. Your gamble didn't pay off, same as mine. If you stay, you will not teach him. Because teaching is done by example. And by staying in that miserable situation, you will not be the best man you can be, you will not be the example for him you wish to. You will be a small, weak, miserable man. And he will learn from you to be the same. You have to move out. Tie your heart in a knot, and move on. Soldier on. And forget about her. Sorry. But it is what you must do, there is no other choice, and you know it? You have to part ways with her as a roommate. You will drag yourself into depression if you see her go out on dates and sleep with other people. Tell her you are happy to still be friends and whatever when it makes sense, but your feelings for her will not allow you to be comfortable living with her while she explores other people. You can admit you heard her tell you she didn't want you like that, but you can't help how you feel. That way she knows she needs to find a place to live ASAP, and you can do what's right for you and just be glad for the experience of getting to know her. You don't owe her a place to live or a father figure for her child. Hopefully you can remain friends. Next story 2. My boyfriend felt deeply disrespected in the relationship by my action. How do I make amends? I have deeply hurt my boyfriend. My boyfriend and I have the best, most healthy, and loving relationship for the last 2 years, and we have been best of friends for 10 years before that. He recently moved countries to settle there, and obviously, much like every person moving places and jobs, is a little tight on his finances and has been struggling finding his ground there. There is a concert he really wanted to attend in his town, which I know means a lot to the both of us, and I decided to surprise him with the tickets to the same. However, I had once tossed the idea with him before this, and he had clearly refused and didn't want to spend that kind of money on entertainment right now, as there were more important things to take care of. I still went ahead and surprised him, thinking he shouldn't compromise on his lifestyle just because he is in a different country. and just as a gesture to make him feel that I'm there with him. However, when he saw the tickets we got into a huge fight about how I chose to be ignorant of his no and how I pitied him and threw money at him to make things better when he has been in a difficult spot. I understand that. I should have listened when he said he didn't want the tickets in the first place, but honestly I love the band and he's already very stressed these days and I wanted him to feel better. He is a man with a lot of pride and takes time to trust people, and what we have built is a result of 12 years of work. However, even after all these years, he has had problems letting me in and doesn't appreciate when I do things by myself. And I'm kind of a hopeless romantic, believing in grand gestures and pouring my heart out in this relationship. After this incident he feels I have crossed a line and overstepped my boundaries with him, while I feel he has time and again pushed me away when I've done things that are just me or made decisions for him or our relationship by myself. He has taken a break from the relationship, and we are both rethinking and revisiting our relationship. The reason he isn't ready to let go of this is because of his past. He has had instances where people very close to him have crossed his boundaries and not let him make his decisions and hurt him a lot, and because of his kind, forgiving nature he has gone back to them multiple times only to be thrown off again. This was one of the reasons why he chose to move countries as well. He consciously has been making an effort to not do that anymore, and I am very well aware and respectful of that fact. He thinks I did exactly the same thing by doing this action and hence chooses to not let go of this. I am trying to explain to him that it's not the same thing and he needs to trust me on why I did what I did, and it was not even close to an act of purposely disrespecting him. Things have really gone out of my hands now because on one hand I'm quite hurt for him to not have trust and faith in me that I'll never do him wrong, and on the other hand I really feel bad and guilty that he felt disrespected and disregarded in the relationship. I'm looking to make this work. Please suggest if I should let him go or not. Comment. I'm so sorry that you're in this situation. I believe your good intentions. You just wanted him to have a good time and be happy. I may have a similar experience to him in some aspects, so I hope that my advice gives you a new perspective. I've been happily married for 6 years to a woman who is from a different country than me. Since 2018, I've been living in her country. It's difficult for me here, but part of the reason why I haven't gone back is because many people from my country, including friends and family, crossed my boundaries, and I just lost all hope that they will ever acknowledge it, apologize, or make amends. Simply put, I don't want to ever have to see them again. But a gift, a ticket to a concert, that's a different thing, isn't it? To me it is anyway. I know how to tell the difference. It has happened to me that I wanted something, chose not to get it to save money, and then later my wife surprised me with it. Of course, I had mixed feelings, but I also know that my wife did it out of love, so I thanked her for it and showed appreciation for her gesture. That is the normal way to act in a situation like this. But your boyfriend, he reacted in a very strange way. I have to say that I don't like one bit how he phrases things, the part about you doing something on your own when he said no. I don't think he understands what boundaries are actually about. It sounds to me like his idea of boundaries is that you never, ever do something he doesn't want you to do. But that's not what boundaries are about. What he is describing is control. He wants to control what you do, and apparently, that includes what gifts you surprise him with. What? That's so weird. So, all of that makes me think that it wasn't really only that people crossed his boundaries, but he just got tired of not getting his way with everyone. I also have to point out that it's an especially dangerous form of pride to want to control 100% how you spend your money, or get his ego hurt if from you buying him something. I don't do that with my wife. But consider just the fundamental plot here. He's been your best friend for 10 years, boyfriend for 2, and he's suddenly considering to throw that all away because you surprised him with tickets to a concert from his favorite band. Does that make any sense to you? I didn't think so. You said in the beginning that you have a healthy relationship with him. May I challenge that belief? Is it really as healthy as you say, or do you just want to believe that? Do you do everything you can to always please him? To never annoy him? What was happening before in the relationship that made this molehill turn into a mountain for him? I mean, you came to Reddit. That sounds pretty desperate. I have a hard time believing that the relationship was perfect, and then one ticket later, it's in the gutter. And this leads me to the conclusion that you may be better off letting him go. I know how much it must hurt to hear this. I know that you invested years into this relationship, but the entire way that he acted regarding this thing, is one gigantic red flag. Let me know if there's more to the story. Wait, you spent your money on a gift for him and he's mad because it makes him somehow feel inadequate? That's his issue, not yours. He has some deep insecurity issues he needs to work through. It's not about the tickets. You can both have perspectives that are right. He might also overreact. Then again, you're telling the story.